Hey you guys, it's Lacey. I'm coming back to you with a review for the new movie Jumanji. So we're gonna get right into it. Well, last Wednesday, my boyfriend took me to go see Jumanji. We live in Des Moines, Iowa, so there's a inside of Merle Hay Mall. There is a movie theater. It's called the Flicks Brew House. They serve liquor. They have a bar. I don't think they serve it inside the theater, but I don't really drink like that, so I wouldn't know. It's on the menu, but I really don't order the shit. But the lower level of the theater, you can watch the movie and order like food, not just popcorn. You can order popcorn, but you can get like pizza, enchiladas, wings, hot wings. Um, you can get guacamole, all types of stuff. So it's really good. So the movie starts on the shore of a beach. It starts in 1996, where the last Jumanji left off at. Um, it is a Jumanji board covered in sand, and you can hear the Jumanji, the African drums, and all of that there. So somebody is running, and they pick it up. They take it home, and I believe they give it to their son. I think his name is Alex. I'm not quite sure. I've already forgotten. It's been a week, almost a week. So, I give it to his son, and he doesn't want to play it because he's like, he's a gamer. He's into video games. He's like, who the fuck plays board games anymore? Like, what the fuck? And he throws his shit on his desk. So, he's playing his games, and then he goes to sleep, and he wakes up, and there's just like this noise, the African drums, and the jungle, and all of that. And the magic of the game turns itself into one of those old Nintendo plug-ins so it can plug into the system. So he picks it up. I think when he wakes up, he plugs it into his system, and then the scene zooms out on the outside of his house, and there is um, there's a green splashing light. He gets sucked into the game. It's no longer a board game where it's monsoons going through the house anymore. Now it's a video game, but he gets sucked into another dimension. I always like the altered dimensional shit. That shit is, I love that. So he gets sucked in the dimension, and then 20 years later, the house he lived in that was nice and white and pretty. I think it's beautiful, but it kind of fucked with me because it looked like one of those plantation houses where they had all those big pillars. I really don't like those type of style houses for obvious reasons, but it was pretty, but now it's 20 years later. It's just run down because he went missing and nobody could find him. And I think his parents just fucked them up. And so now the house is just, their lives in the house is just done for. So the scene, 20 years later, is the scene starts with this nerdy type guy, Spencer, I believe. Spencer is playing video games and he's writing a paper. This one guy, I think his name is the Juice or some shit. He's a black guy. He's real big. He's a football player. He's fine as fuck. I think he's an adult, but he plays a minor in the movie, so it kind of freaks me out. But he is fine as hell. And he wants him to type his homework for him so that he won't fail and he can stay on the football team. He does, but he fucks it up because he's plagiarizing. He's used a certain phrase ending with a fire of a battlefield or a union or something, and he's used it before in his other papers. So they deal with plagiarism, and they eventually get caught. And old boy doesn't want to be his friend. The black guy who's a football player, he doesn't want to be his friend, doesn't want to be Spencer's friend anymore because the other guy, the Juice, he is it's either the Juice or the Hammer. The Juice, I was calling him the Juice. The Juice is basically he's popular. He's a popular guy in school, and Spencer is not, so he doesn't really want to fuck with him. So he gives him a paper. They eventually get in trouble, and now he really doesn't fuck with him because he got him in trouble. So they both get detention, and the Juice gets kicked off the football team. So now he can't play. And now Juice is pissed. Spencer is like, what the fuck? Oh my god. So then Spencer ends up having gym class with him and his friend. I forget his name. He's kind of look like somewhat of a tweaker. And there's this girl there. She's real uptight. She's real scholastic. And she's like arguing with the coach Why do I have to be here? Why do I have to do this? I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. Why can't we do something that's going to, add value to my life? And the gym teacher was like, this will add value to your life. This is healthy for you. You get to move around. You get to stay in shape. This is very good for you. And this is to help you in life to stay in shape. And she's like, this is not going to help me do anything. It's not going to help me with my SATs, my ACTs. It's not going to help me get into college. I don't want to waste my life doing this meathead bullshit and then I end up a fucking gym teacher. And the gym teacher was like, wow, really? Oh, okay. And she's like, that was really harsh and it was messed up how it came out. She said, yeah, it was. And that's why you're going to detention. I was like, well, fuck. Okay, well, shit. Just give motherfucking detention. That is some fucked up shit. That would hurt my feelings. But oh well. So, who's that? God, I hate emails. Anyway, so so she gets detention, and Spencer was like, wow, that was completely badass. I kind of thought it was badass, but I thought it was rude, but it was more so badass than rude. So then we get to a scene with this Bethany girl. She's supposed to be famous, an actress, but she's still in high school. She's getting up. She's doing for the day. She's getting ready. She's taking this selfie like she just woke up. Like, oh my god, that selfie shit. Like, oh, no filter. I love my life. All that. And she gets ready for school. I guess this one guy, he's a celebrity. He's broken up with her, so she's still trying to look sexy and look good for him in front of the cameras and everything. And she's taking a nice morning picture. She gets to school. She's talking to one of her other friends in class on the fucking phone, like a video chat, like iPhone chat, like iChat, I think. And the gym teacher that gave the other girl detention, she's like, hey, could you get off the phone? Other people were done with their pop or trying to do their pop quiz. She's like, oh, well, I'm done with mine. And the teacher was like, that's nice, but if you haven't noticed, everyone else isn't. And she's like, well, that's not really my problem. They'll be all right. And so she was like, listen, I'm going through a crisis and my friend is helping me. So isn't that what really matters? As woman to woman, shouldn't you get off my back and give me some space? She's like, I'll give you some space, basically. You're going to detention. So that was that. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Who does that shit in class? Get the fuck off the phone. You're not even supposed to be having your phone out. Like, that's a rule. Everybody knows this rule. Why do motherfuckers keep trying it? Keep your phone in a pocket or some shit. Come on now, you know better. So then they all four of them, Spencer, the Juice, the one red-haired girl, and Bethany. I can't remember the one boy's name. I'll look it up later. But, yeah, so they end up in detention. Before they go, the teacher was like, you guys are young, you got one life, you need to live it right, and you need to enjoy your life. Stop all this extra shit. And he sends them to detention. He says, he gives them to this room. He takes them to this room. You know how nice newer buildings, they've been remodeled from an older building. They always got that old dusty part of the building, especially with schools and hospitals and shit. I don't know why they do that. Like schools and hospitals. Like, yeah, let's keep a whole dusty part of a building that probably has asbestos and shit, where there's plenty of people and patients and children. Yeah, let's keep this part of the building because that's perfectly logical, right? Like, fucking no, it's not. But anyway, so he takes them to this room. He says, we have to get rid of these papers, and we have to take them to the recycling plant, but we can't take them to the recycling plant as they are because they have staples in them. So we want all four of y'all to take these staples out. And it was like, well, what if we don't finish today? He's like, well, then you can just come back tomorrow. Yay, isn't that grand? Like, no, it's not. Go fuck yourself. So, but they're like, yeah, that's amazing. So, only Spencer and the redhead girl that's uptight are taking out the staples. Bethany is trying to get a reception for her phone, and the Juice is like, I'm not doing none of that. And I don't blame him. I wouldn't do this shit either. So he's looking around for shit, and he pulls up a game system from the 90s, and he looks at Spencer. He's like, hey man, what the fuck is this? He's like, I think it's like a Game Boy or a Nintendo or some shit. And so they plug it up, and it was like, let's play. And everybody was like, all right, cool. It's better than picking out staples out of the magazine papers. And the redhead girl that's real uptight and scholastic, I'm gonna call her Bunny because I can't remember. Or I'm gonna call her not Rebecca because that seems weird. I'm gonna call her Bunny because I don't want to keep calling her the redhead. That's too much. Bunny is basically like, no, you guys, we have to finish. We need to finish so I can get out of here so I can, achieve world peace and domination or whatever the fuck else she is. She's a real pinky in the brain type motherfucker. That's the type of shit she is. She's on. And I kind of like it. I like Bunny. And Spencer finally convinces Bunny to finally, get on the game. Let's go. So they plug it up. They start it. And, Jumanji is starting to suck them in the way it sucked in Alex in 1996 at the beginning of the movie. So they're like, unplug the shit. So he unplugged the shit, and the shit still went because the magic of the game doesn't need electricity, bitches. It's own electricity, if you ain't know. So he unplugged the shit. It kept going, scared the fuck out of everybody, but nobody moved. It sucked Spencer in first. Then I think it sucked in Bunny, and then I think Bethany, and then the Juice. So it sucked them in. They all landed in this Amazon type situation, type setting. Spencer turns into the Rock. Bethany turns into Jack Black. Bunny turns into this lady. She's a kick-ass. She just kicks ass. I don't know. We're gonna keep calling her. Bunny is a more sexy version of Bunny, as if she got older. Fuck that. I'm not doing that. So sorry you guys. Bunny, I'm gonna call her Professor X. Bunny turns into Professor X, and not the X-Men one, but this version of it. Just some type of professor. And then the Juice, he turns into Kevin Hart. I thought the shit was funny. I didn't like everybody else was like smart and they had, skills and shit. And Kevin Hart's character, he was short, he was slow, his weakness was cake, and he was The Rock's flunky. The Rock had no weaknesses. He had nothing that was his weakness. Jack Black, his weakness. What was his weakness? I forget his weakness. He was really irrelevant with shit. His strengths were more important than his weaknesses. And then the one Professor X lady, the Bunny, her weakness was snake venom. So, and there was a stretch for Bethany because she went from someone really sexy, young, and hot and slender to an old, middle-aged, balding, fat man. And I was like, that's fucked up. That's worse than what the Juice got. It like at least he's still his. That's fucked up. Why you make Bethany look like that? Oh shit. So they were trying to tell each other, like, they was like, where are we? And naturally they're like, where the fuck am I? They got sucked into the game, and it was like, I think we are all the characters that we picked. Professor X, she kicks ass. She her strengths are dance fighting and shit of that nature. And Jack Black as Bethany, her strengths were I think she anthropology, and I think what else? She was good at reading fossils, and she was great at reading maps. The Rock, his strengths were pretty much everything. He had no weaknesses. Kevin Hart, his strengths were zoology and botany, and he was a weapons keeper for The Rock. All of The Rock's weapons were in his backpack. So I'm like, so basically he had some strengths, but he was very slow. And I'm like, who the fuck would give somebody a weakness as not being fast in an Amazon type jungle, and you running around, running away from hippos and rhinos and tigers and jaguars? Like, what type of stupid shit is that? That's terrible. So then there's this analog part of the game. He comes in a Jeep. He brings them into the Jeep. He drives them around. He gives them the backstory of basically Jumanji is in trouble. We need you to help us. This is why, this dark figured man, he took the gem out of the Jaguar Mountain. And it's a bright green emerald gem. He took it out of the eye of the jaguar, and I took it from him because when he took it, he has control of the curse on Jumanji started, and you have to live with the curse of Jumanji. I took it from him, and so now your job is to put it back in the eye of the jaguar. And it was like, okay, he drops them off on some hill. They don't know where they're going. They try to read the map. Nobody can read the map except for Jack Black's character because that's his strength. Bethany Jack Black. That's what he does. He reads the map. When he reads the map, they find out where they need to go. But in between time, the dark figure character, him and his minions, they're attacking the four of them, and they're running after them. And the Rock is like, we need to run, we need to go. And by the time he turns around, everybody else to left his ass. But he's so fast because he has no weaknesses, and he's completely muscular that he catches up and he goes up. He's in front of them. So they're going on, and they keep running, and then they end up. Where do they go next? Trying to think. It's been almost a week. They're running. They end up running from them in the jungle. And when they're running from them in the jungle, they eventually have to hit the end of a cliff. They have to jump off. Have to jump off the cliff, and they jump into the water. Now, Kevin Hart is on the Rock's back because Kevin Hart doesn't run fast, but the Rock does. So he picks him up. He's like, "Come on, we gotta go, we gotta go." So they jump off the cliff. And when they get off into the water and get on the mainland, they basically Kevin is pissed. He's like, "Don't you ever pick me up like that again. I'm a grown ass man. I don't appreciate that shit." I'm like, "But you're little and you're slow. I gotta do what I gotta do. Come the fuck on." But then we find out that while they were running from the dark figure man and his minions, that the Professor X bunny lady, she got shot and she lost life and she died. And when she died, she wraps up and it disappears. But then they have a new life. They have X amount of lives because it's a game. So it's not like real life when you die. It's just you die. No, well, some people come back, but most people don't. So they get to start over and reboot. And then once she dies, they're like, "What the fuck? Where'd she go?" And then they hear do 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 ding, like ding, like a nice little ding, and she comes back and she, hands on the ground, like, "What the fuck just happened?" They have tattoos on their arms, by the way, and there's 3 lines, and these 3 lines represent how many lives they had. When she comes back, she only has 2 lives because she only has 2 lines. And it's like, we gotta be real careful because we only have 3 lives and shit. So now they're going walking in the forest, and they end up in the marketplace, I believe. Before they get to the marketplace, they have to pee, and so Bunny goes and pees where she has to pee, but Bethany turns into a man. So she's like, "Well, what the fuck?" She's like, "Well, what the fuck do I do with this?" She's never had a dick before, obviously. So like, what do I do with this? And the guys are like, "We'll show you, but we don't want that shit too close to us because we men and we only touch our own dicks. We don't want all that extra shit." And he's like, just point it out. Like, she's like, "What? How do I point it?" She's like, "Just point it toward the wall. Just point it out and just piss and just let it go." And she was like, "Oh fuck, this is easy. Shit, I've never experienced this much comfort in my life." I'm like, I would imagine it would be easy. Kevin Hart is so stupid. He's like, "Everything on me has changed except for my dick is still big like it was before we got in the game." I was like, Alright, okay, well, that's good. Big dicks are always a plus. So yeah, I'm glad that your dick was still big. That's nice. So then, it's so fucking stupid. They end up in town. They get to the market, and they have to find the next clue. So when they're in the market, they have to eat because they have to build up their strength. Because you know they've been running around and shit. They've been running away. A little boy runs up to him. He's an analog message as well. The messages are basically are programmed to say one specific thing to you, the same way a video game does. It doesn't change. It doesn't matter what question you ask them. It's going to be the same message. So he tells them the message. They follow him, and then he gives them a riddle. When they get a riddle, they have to go into this little room. They go into the room, and there is a little, one of those little baskets, and there's a cobra-like snake in there, right? So the one girl, Professor X, remember her weakness is venom. So I'm sitting there like, oh shit, how the fuck is this gonna go? And it was like the zoologist guy, Kevin Hart. He was like, listen, the snake, you can't blink. You cannot blink when you look at the snake. If you blink, it will attack you and bite the shit out of you. So Jack Black, he was like, okay, I got this. I can stare at a snake without blinking. And this is one of my skills. So the Rock opens up the basket top, and Jack Black is looking at the snake. This motherfucker blinks. And as soon as he blinks, that thing attacks and he ducks. Jack ducks, and Professor X, she's standing right there, and the Rock grabs the snake, and they're like, what do we do? What do we do? Now, Kevin Hart, he's a zoologist and a botanist, so he understands what to do. He said, I got it. We have to defang the snake. So he yanks out one fang and yanks out the other one. That way the snake won't be poisonous. You can't hurt him. I imagine now, I would be pissed if I was a snake. Like, bitch, did you just defang me? What type of shit is that? Bitch, I'll smack you with my tail. Don't you defang me again, bitch. What the fuck am I supposed to eat now? Nah, I can't even protect myself. That shit would piss me off. Unless you was one of those boa constrictors, then you would just, you didn't have to bite the motherfucker. You just snap their ass close and just make them lose oxygen until they fucking die. And then, you wouldn't need fangs. But that shit pissed me off. Like, bitch, did you just defang me? The fuck, I'm in the jungle. What am I supposed to do? Shit, I might as well just go ahead and sell myself to one of them shoe places. They can go ahead and make some fucking shoes or a coat or a scarf out of me. God damn it, I can't believe this shit. So then they go on. They find the treasure at the bottom of the basket, and there's an elephant head. And it's talking about the missing piece. And so as they're in the market, they keep walking, they're arguing, and they're kind of laughing a little bit. And as they're laughing, they're walking, and the dark figure and his people come along, and they attack them. And they're fighting, and they're going at it for a little while, and then this smoke bomb comes out of nowhere, and the four of them are able to escape. And the other people are looking for them. Now, they were beating ass a minute ago, but you do get tired of beating ass at some point. You get a little exhausted even in the game. So the one person comes in as a pilot, and they come and they throw the smoke bomb, and they run off, and then he shows them where to hide at. And they hide in this little, door, and it's like a secret passageway. And it's a typical Tomb Raider type game. They go into this passageway. He tells them, watch out for this, watch out for that. And when he is going there, it's like these knives coming in, these walls that come up that are basically like Ginsu knives. It's like a knife that's a wall. And they gotta stand in between the bricks and shit so that they don't get sliced up. I'm like, fuck this. And then there's a pit where there's gators. They are crocodiles, whatever they are. They're huge. The bitches are large. And so, this man, his name is I think it's Nick Jonas, but he's a pilot. So Nick is this pilot, and he puts the block of wood down. He puts a block of wood down so they can, a plank basically, walk over the little pit with the snakes. And everybody else is pretty slender and in shape. But Bethany she's a middle-aged fat man who's bald. So she's not in shape. So if she, walks too slow or she makes the wrong move, she'll break that thing and then be, chow for the gators. Now Bethany is walking across it, and she almost gets caught. So she walks quickly, and Nick pulls her on to the other side. Now she's still flirting with Nick because as if she looks like herself in the real world, and Nick is like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And they explain to Nick that um, the professor's name is Bethany in real life. This is a girl. He was like, oh, okay. So they keep going, and then they end up at his hut, and we discover that Nick's weakness is mosquitoes. If a mosquito is on his ass, he dies, and that's what it is. Now Nick only has one life left, and what we discover is later on, Nick has been in that game for 20 years since 1996. So he's like, we have to get to the flyers pit. It has all the vehicles, and he said, I can't go back. I've been trying for years and years and years, for what he thinks is months, but it's been years. He said, he's like, I refuse to. And they're like, man, we got to get the fuck out of here, bro. I know you don't want to, because I know you have, really nervous about going back because of everything that's happened and it hasn't worked out well for you, but we have to get the fuck out of here. So they convinced Nick to come with them, and what happened, he was serving them tequilas, I think margaritas and whatnot, and Kevin got drunk. So when they went to the pit, he was just stoned out, just stoked out of his mind. And they're like, bro, are you drunk? He was like, no, I'm not drunk. I'm fine. I'm like, this nigga's drunk. Unfortunate. But it is what it is, nevertheless. So, they were like, they get to the Kosh pit, and when they get there, there's 2 armed guards, and they're programmed as well. They're only programmed to say a few things, but they can't move around. Like an analog, like in a video game, and it's real cool. And so there's like, somebody has to distract them so that we can get to a vehicle. We need to get to the plane or the helicopter. And it was like, Bethany was like, Professor X, Bunny, you have to distract them. She's like, why me? She's like, because you're hot and you're the only ones there. She's like, I'm going to show you how to flirt. She's like, I don't know how to flirt. I don't know the first thing about flirting. And she was like, honey, that's what I'm going to show you. So Bethany proceeds to show Bunny, and Bunny does fucking terrible. I'm like, oh God, this is just horrendous to watch. I don't want to watch it, but it's so beautiful. I can't look away. It's hilarious. So she goes down there. They send her down there eventually to flirt with the guards. And, she's just like, hey, big boy, how are you doing? Hey, big boy. She literally looked like this. What are you doing? She looked crazy as hell. That girl looked all types of crazy. I'm like, this is so funny. I absolutely love what we're doing with this. So she's flirting with them. While she's flirting with them, that's when everybody else discovers that Nick has been in the game for 20 years. Spencer was trying to say it nice, but Juice dumbass, this motherfucker. Juice is dumbass. He gonna say, you been in this game for 20 years, motherfucker. I was like, really, nigga? We can't have any coof. You don't know how to break the ice slowly? My goodness. You just not gonna warm it up slow. You just gonna pour a piping hot water on it, huh? I'm like, what the shit is this? But anyway, I'm saying, you could have said that to him a little easier than that. And Spencer was like, The Rock was like, I wasn't trying to say it like that, but fuck it. I guess, that's the way. It's not the way I was hoping for, but that's the way. And he was like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. So, they're trying to escape down the hill. She's flirting with them. And another one of her strengths is dance fighting. So they hear something. They get into the Kosh pit. Finally, she's distracting them with all her womanly wiles. And what is his name? Kevin's little crazy ass. I think he either was fighting with somebody or he was drunk, and he knocked over the motorcycles. And the 2 armed guards, they immediately knew something was wrong. So then Bunny, she started beating their ass because dance fighting was one of her specialties. She was whooping the dog shit out of them, and I was here for every minute of it. I was like, this is a good ass movie. I really like this movie. So she beats their ass completely, and they're like, oh my gosh, she's whooping ass. I'm so proud of her. But by that time, the other minions of the dark figure are on their way. That you can hear them coming. So she has to run through. Dwayne was gonna go out there and help her, but he was like, shit, she got it. It's all good. She got it under control. She's completely badass. So she has to run into the cockpit. They have to start it, and they go on their way. Now, because they had to crash the helicopter through a roof, the propeller and some limb, it knocked itself unhinged. So they ride off into this valley. But what happens is, these albino rhinos are coming, and they eat people. They're carnivorous. So they can't get there. They're going to attack them soon enough because they're hungry probably. They're going to attack them, but the helicopter is really low, so they can't get up higher because the propeller and that one little limb is detached, and they can't get a hold of it. So the Rock is like, tells Nick, you're the pilot, tell me what I need to do. Tell me how I need to fix it. He's absolutely strong, so he's like the Superman of the story, so he can fix it. He can do anything. Now they're doing all this to get out of the canyon so they can get to the Jaguar Stone so that they can put the green gem back in the Jaguar eye. So he puts it in there, and he does the whole shindig. He fixes it. Kevin has the stone in his backpack. Now they get it situated and fixed. He leans over to throw up as they're getting out of the valley, and the gem falls out of his bag. So when they get out, he was like, "Hey, you guys, the gem dropped." And it's like, "Where is it?" It's in the valley. So they were pissed, and I was too. I was so mad at him. I'm like, "Don't let drunk people hold the valuables, please. This is why we can't have nice things. Don't let the drunks hold it. God, like, come on. It's not that difficult." But they had to go back, and what they do is he sacrifices Kevin because Kevin has more lives at this point than everybody else. No, he just has more. He has more. Everybody has the same amount of lives. He sacrifices Kevin, and he jumps down, and when he sacrifices him, the rhinos run after Kevin. Now Kevin can't run that fast, so they run under him. The rhinos run over him, and they eat him, and he dies. And but he has another life, so he's gonna come back. The Rock, he goes and gets the gem, and he holds on to the end of the helicopter, and they go all the way up. Now you hear the ding sound, so Kevin is coming back. The Rock tells Nick, flip the helicopter sideways, and so he does. And when he does, what's the nigga name? Kevin. He falls through the helicopter. And the Rock grabs him, and they go. They straighten out the helicopter and drive up. So then they end up on the ground, and then they end up eventually at the Jaguar, the foot of the Jaguar Mountain, and it's a long ass path. So I'm like, you could tell this is a video game because this shit is so long and unnecessary. It's like, yay, they're almost there. I'm like, no, they're not. But before they get to there, situation happens where Nick, he's on his last life. So a mosquito comes and he smacks his neck, and he was like, oh shit, and he dies. And as he's dying, Bethany gives him CPR. So when she's giving her CPR, she's giving him one of her lives. She has 2 lives at that point, and she's giving him one of her lives. And so now he has a life and she has a life. And now he's very thankful, and he was like, oh God, you're awesome. And they like each other, but it's weird because she's like a guy, but she's not a guy. It's like, this is fucking weird, but okay. This is just a movie, I suppose. So they get to the end of the Jaguar thing, and they're like, this seems too easy. What's the catch? So they light the Jaguar lights, and these They're like, no, this is a trap. I'm not about to do this, and this is not going to end well. So the Rock, he gets up, right, and he's climbing trees, and he's almost there. He's doing so good. This motherfucker, this motherfucker gets scared of a goddamn squirrel, falls all the way down of all the trees he just climbed up, and then he gets attacked by a jaguar and dies. Then he dings and comes back. So he has one life left. And then he talks to Kevin. He was like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. It's too hard. I only have one life. And Kevin was like, you dickwad. We only have one life to begin with. Like, it ain't that difficult. Just take your ass up the mountain. And he said, I tell you what. This is what we going to do. Because he's a football player, so he's still thinking strategy. So he's like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a little play I call the juice or something like something he named after himself. And split up. So they split up, right? So the Jaguars are chasing some of them. The minions and the dark figure, they're chasing some of them. And then Kevin is going all over the place. So by the time Kevin ends up on a, he ends up face to face with a elephant, and he's a little man. I think his name is Dunbar something, Professor Dunbar, and his nickname is Mouse because he's so small. And it's interesting because it's like a play on words of the elephant and the mouse, and how the elephant is afraid of the mouse. And he says, "Stop! This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna put me on. I'm gonna put on your back. I'm gonna get on your back, and I'm gonna ride you." And he does. He's not afraid of the elephant. The elephant stops. He rides the elephant all the way up. So all the rest of them get to the edge of the Jaguar Mountain, and the dark figure man, he gets there. And it was like he has Bethany in his hand, because Bethany, he called Bethany, and he's like, told her, tell me where he's going. And so she told him. She's like, I'm sorry. And he was like, give me the gem. And she said, don't do it. Don't give it to him. And he's like, shut up before I kill you. And so then he's like, I can't give it to you because I don't have it. And then immediately Kevin comes to the bushes with his, what the shit is that thing called? I forget a lot of shit. God, I need to stop drinking. This is water. This isn't liquor. But he comes to the bushes on an elephant, and he throws the gem in the air. And so then the one girl, I think the Rock throws her, and she ends up, she climbs up and she jumps, and she's real good at climbing and jumping and climbing trees and all the rest of that, and climbing mountains. So she gets up there, but mind you, her weakness is venom. So the gem ends up in a pit full of like cobras. I said, it wouldn't be a movie without the fuckery. Wouldn't be a movie without the fuckery. Just had to put it in there. But hey, makes for good entertainment. So she gets up there. The Rock is still riding a motorcycle. So he's riding a motorcycle all the way up the mountain, going up the mountain and shit, going up the back part. And she gets the gem. And now, mind you, when the dark figure got the gem out of the Jaguar Stomp Mountain, he was in control of all of the creatures in Jumanji. He was in control of everything. So when he walks up, all of the cobras are like not standing because they can't stand, but they kind of were like standing. They're like in a tin hut, and except for that one was laying down, and he was like, "Give me the gem. You're conquered. You are basically." You're surrounded and it's over for you. She said, it's not over for me because you forget my weakness is venom. And then she proceeds to step on a snake and the snake bites her. The snake bites her. And I'm like, does she have 2 lives or 1? I'm like, she was with the shit, so she must have had 2. So she died, and then she came back. And as she comes back, ding, she drops out of the sky. The Rock at this point is going up the mountain. He takes this little hook thing and he throws it onto the stone, and then he rides around he like swings around the mountain and he catches her, and they put the stone into the eye of the jaguar, and they lift the curse of Jumanji. And so they get down, and in the beginning of the movie they said that you got to lift the curse of Jumanji. You got to put the stone into the jaguar, and you all have to scream Jumanji. You got to scream its name to lift up the curse and the shame. So they do, and when they do that automatic analog that was there at the beginning of the movie, I think it was Nigel Barker or something. I don't know, his real name is probably Nigel Barker. He lifts up the stone, and he was in Austin Powers, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think he was. But I don't know his real name. But he's the analog in this movie. So at the end, they all scream Jumanji, and they're free, and it's over, and the curse is lifted, and everything is great. And everybody goes home, and it's like, yeah, get me the fuck out of here. I want to go home. Bethany's part was so funny, because she was like, bye, little dude. I was like, that's how I would be if I had a dick for the first time. Bye, little dude. I'm gonna miss you, man. That shit was comedy, pure comedy. I couldn't. And everybody else leaves, and then Professor X and Spencer the Rock, they're the last ones there. And he was like, because he's so puny when he gets back, and he's like, I don't want to go. I want to stay here. We can stay here and look just like this. He said we can stay here and be this way with each other. She said we can be this way with each other when we get back to our world. This ain't for us. I mean, like, there really is nothing else for you to do. You've already accomplished your dreams. I know you want to look, but let's go back home. And my boyfriend was like, oh yeah, well, he just want to stay there and look that way. I was like, well, he can't look that way. My thing is, he's in high school. He's clearly like a sophomore. You got another 8 years to look like that. Or you can just stay working out and you can look like that. Just stay ripped and just stay in the gym. You got your whole life. He a little ass boy. He ain't even a minor. He's not even, he's a minor. He's not even legal yet. So I'm like, yeah, you got time. You can look like that sooner or later. So they all go back eventually, and they just start their life over, and they all become friends, and they become close, and they're just kicking it, and they're different, and they change. And Bethany wants to see where Alex is, and they go back to the freak house where Alex disappeared in 1996, and the house, apparently the game spit him back out where he was back in 1996. So he got 20 years to have his life and be an adult and have a family and be married, instead of him just being missing and shit and the whole family goes kaput. He had time. And so he was like, when they saw him, he was like 40 or 37 or some shit, like 36 or something. Because he was 16 when he went missing. So he told Bethany, he's like, you know what? I remember you. You saved my life. And I named one of my girls Bethany after you. And she was like, oh, thank you. She was expecting the hot him, but he was, he was going back to who he was and who he would have been in the future. And he was like, I'll see you guys later. So they went on and they were friends and everybody was, cool with each other. Then they heard the Jumanji drum and they said, fuck that. They took that game system out in the alleyway. And the Juice had a bowling ball, and he's really strong. So he smashed that Jumanji game, and he was like, we not doing this no more. And then they walked off. And that was the end of the movie. The movie was so fun, you guys. I hope you get to see it before it goes out of the studios. I really wanted to see Insidious, but up here, that's not showing anymore. I wanted to see Proud Mary, but that was over. There's a lot of shit I wanted to see. I hate when movies come out when you broke. The bills due, when everything come out, you get direct deposit and the bills hit the same day. Like, shit, I can't even afford to breathe. But I'm gonna see some more movies. I'm gonna probably do some more movie reviews pretty soon. I think the next one's probably gonna be the Mickey Howard movie review. Because that was a good ass movie, y'all. That's a good ass movie. I like that one. So I'll see you guys later. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, and like. And I will see you guys next time. Tell me what you want me to see, and we'll go from there. I'll see you guys next time. I love you. Bye.